Well, my guest with me today is the founder and director of the Way Church, Scott Stetson. Welcome to On Purpose.
Thank you for having me.
I'm
This
so
is
excited.
awesome.
Yes, we've been getting to know each other for about a year now.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy your company. Scott, you are the pastor of the Way Church. You're
Yeah.
the founder and director right here in Fenton.
Yeah.
And you do have a part in the Way Coffee Company, which
A
is
little
fun.
bit. Yeah. I'm here. I help when I can, and every once in a while, when I'm needed, I'll make drinks. And I know the quality suffers a little bit while I'm here, but
I haven't experienced that at all.
good.
No,
good.
I really haven't.
That's great.
But yeah, thank you for being on purpose.
Yeah.
As you know, the podcast is regarding purpose and people
Sure.
that I feel are truly living their purpose. Some people, their purpose is evolving, but I do see that being a pastor and director and founder of a church, you are living your purpose, but I really do want to have a deep dive conversation about purpose with you.
Yeah.
So first, tell us a little bit. You grew up in the area, and tell us just a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I grew up in Southeast Michigan, Goodrich, graduated from Goodrich High School, and was raised in the church, but kind of college. I was going to school for business locally, and I fell away from the church. And I was almost done with my business degree. God called me into ministry, and God used a dark time in my life and really drew me back to Himself. I was, I opened up the Bible one evening and I just started reading Genesis chapter 1 in the beginning, right? And I was reintroduced to a God who created on purpose, right? And it's like, man, and things just started falling into place. And I finally felt like I had a purpose in life. And shortly thereafter, just called into ministry. And that was 2010, and hit the ground running, and haven't looked back since.
So good.
Yeah.
So, there are a lot of people that listen that are still asking me every day, like, how did you find your purpose? Or how will I know if I found my purpose? Do you feel like people almost have to go through that valley or that dark time or that struggle to understand maybe where their purpose is?
Oh, yeah. And I think there's this false understanding today that, life is always rainbows and butterflies, right? Or, if you're genuinely pursuing God, right, life is going to be perfect. That's not the case. Like, look at the book of Job, right? It's a classic example. Job was brought through the fire, not literally, but through the fire in order to teach, in order for God to teach Job a valuable lesson. And too often, we avoid difficulties, we avoid trials, but they're so needed in our lives. And so I guess the encouragement to those of you watching, if you're going through the fire right now, God's going to bring you out. You're in that season for His glory, and you're good.
Sure.
But yeah, God used a dark time in my life and really turned back to Him. He was pursuing me big time. Opened up the Word, and like I said, the rest is history.
Can you describe that? You don't have to describe into detail your dark time, but can you describe the light bulb moment that you said, I need to get into the Word, and what was that trigger that you opened that Bible that day?
Okay, so like I said, raised in the church, but I just started questioning, and it was a work of the Spirit, right? I'm questioning, man, if I felt alone, felt abandoned, but if I died tonight, I think I would make it to heaven. But standing in front of Jesus, would He be satisfied with the life I lived? And that, self-examination, the answer was no. And so that right there, that self-examination just pushed me to His Word, and it sparked something. Like 2010, and like I said, shortly thereafter, called into ministry. And business, my business degree is important, but yeah, I need to get in the Word. I need to teach the Word. I need to preach the Word. I need to push young families to pursue Him. And shortly thereafter, on staff at a church, on staff at another church. We planted the Way Church in 2018. So
Which
it's
is
been
an awesome story of how you got that church.
Oh, yeah.
You want to talk about a God moment, you can share that. That's a very cool moment.
So in ministry since 2010 and various roles, mid-Michigan, Nebraska, back to Michigan, where family is. And ever since God called me into ministry, I felt like God was leading us to start something, to start a church, and really wanted to reach young families. And you look at the statistics, right? Most people, if they're followers of Jesus, they made that decision early on. The old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? Sure. And if I have a short amount of time on this earth, right, until eternity, let's be as effective as you possibly can. And so, okay, I want to reach young parents who have young kids at home. Let's encourage them to be the primary disciple makers in the home. That's how we're going to be as effective as we possibly can. So we just, because we're familiar with mid-Michigan, where are young families moving in and settling into the area? And I don't know if you would be more suited to answer that question, but 5-6 years ago, all my research led me to Grand Blanc, Holly, and Fenton.
Yes, and growing communities and families.
Yeah. So we knew we wanted to plant a church, start a church in Fenton, because we're familiar with Fenton, and praying that direction for about a year. And it was, I think it's safe to say, it was frustrating, because it was like, we hit a wall after another wall, and a door slammed in our face. And finally, Amanda and I, we got to the point where we were like, God, if this is from you, then open up a door and make it known. And if it's not, like, take this burden away from me, because we can't live the rest of our lives like this. And shortly after that change, in our prayer life, was when God answered the door in a tremendous way. And really, the facility, the building, fell into our lap, and met this dying church in Fenton, right where we wanted to be. And really, the rest is history. So
it's such he answers the prayer.
Oh, for sure.
In his perfect timing, right? Yes, we always try to kick down a door. Or,
I could have easily forced it, 2 years prior, but I'm so glad that it worked out on his timing. His plan's way better than ours.
Yeah. So now you have a growing church.
Yeah.
You're married.
Yes.
Father of
3.
I thought it was 4. Sorry, 3.
Sometimes it feels like 4, but no.
Father of 3.
Yeah,
and
two girls and a little boy.
Church is more of a young church with lots of young kids, correct?
Yeah. And so we are conveniently located in front of Georgetown Park Apartments.
Nice.
And lots of young families in there. And I look at our ministry as it's a unique ministry, because nobody wants to live in an apartment forever, right? Mm-hmm. They usually jump on the phone with elite agents through EXP.
Nice plug. I love it. I love that.
And they, they want to relocate to somewhere else, find their starter home. But some people are moving out of state or wherever. But a revolving door of a mission field is right in our backyard. Did you know it's 1/10 of the city of Fenton in Georgetown Park Apartments?
No, I did not.
1/10, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Highest population density back there. And they're
like I should be farming that every month.
They are moving in and moving out, and every day. I mean, we live right next to the church, right? Mm-hmm. And so we can look down and see moving trucks in and out every day. And so the lost are coming to us. And really, we have a unique, like I said, revolving door mission field where we're able to reach people for a season and send them off, say a gospel goodbye, get them plugged into a solid church wherever they land. And I
love that.
It's a unique ministry, but
very cool.
God's been good.
Yeah. So wrapping it up with purpose.
Yeah.
How do you, not just as a pastor, really,
Sure.
how do you help someone find their purpose?
Man, and that's huge, right? Pursue truth, dig into the word. We get so distracted and chase silly meaningless things when, God's revealed himself. And not only that, but who we really are. We can learn a lot about who we really are through his word, the creation. We were created by the Creator. So dig into the word, right? Stop chasing these meaningless pursuits. Dig into the word, get serious about pursuing him, and you're going to find your purpose.
That's well said.
Yeah.
I always say to a lot of people, strip off your job title, strip off who, you are in your mind. Why did you wake up this morning?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You have gifts and talents that God's given you.
Yeah.
If it comes easy to you, it's your superpower.
Yeah.
That's probably the pursuit of your purpose.
Yeah.
Right there.
He created you for a reason, and he uniquely wired you and designed you. But you don't realize that often until you really press into the word. And so that is, that's an experience that I had opening up that word for the first time, right? 2010, all those years ago. I finally, my eyes were open to the Creator God of the universe, creating me, designing me on purpose. My eyes were open, Beforehand, it was, okay, I'll chase this, I'll chase that. I'm good at this. But the dots were connected really when I got serious about studying the word.
That's so good. And I've had people ask me, like, it's overwhelming. Like, where do I even start? Is there something that you tell a first time, like, hey, I just got my first Bible. What's the best way to dive into it?
Man, the book of John is great, but we say this at the Way Church. Life, you can't do life on your own. So find a community. Find a solid local church that you can lean on and sit under the authority of good biblical teaching. And we can't do it on our own. Adam, it wasn't good for Adam to be alone, right?
Sure.
He needed a helper.
Yeah, this is not good.
It's not good for us to be on our own. I need other brothers and sisters in Christ who will not only, encourage me and call me out, but to just help me see the body is bigger than just the Way Church, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah.
How can I find you, Scott? How do people find you? What's the times of church? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. You can find me at Collaboration Grounds Monday through
You are
Friday.
here a lot. That's awesome.
Sipping on coffee. No, the Way Church. You can find us online, findandfollow.org. We stream on Facebook and YouTube. Also have a podcast, The Narrow. We talk about what it means to intentionally follow Jesus in 2024, right?
Okay.
Jesus said, narrow is the way that leads to life, and few find it. So we just talk about that, talk about what that means, and so you can find The Narrow wherever you get your podcasts.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. Scott, thanks for being on purpose and
Absolutely.
talking. It was a pleasure, man.
Todd, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Talk to you soon.
Yeah.